Hey, how you doing? Welcome to Wolf's Watch. Wolf here, and as always, as a leader of the pack, I am scouring the countryside looking for resources that are going to be useful for you as an entrepreneur, spotlighting businesses that will help you learn what other people are doing to get through the great shutdown and continue to thrive in our current turbulent environment, and also just sharing things from that I've learned from my journey as well. It's looking for ways to feed the pack, right? And it's information, insights, things like that to help with the mindset that help feed you as a leader and feed your mindset to continue improving. Now, I apologize for all the noise in the. I'm going to make an adjustment here. All the outlines and weird disruption that we're getting here today, pixelating like crazy. I've been finding out that from day to day, sometimes the setup that I use one day works great for a week, and then I'll plug it in on Monday like I did today. And I have been tweaking it, trying to get it to look the way I would like it to look while we're talking, but I am not mastering the technology for some reason. So here's my question for you today. We'll keep this brief on this wonderful Monday, masterful Monday, if you will. What book are you reading right now? Put it in the comments. I'm rereading Tim Ferriss's Tools of the Titans. It is great summaries of best practices from high performers in a whole broad range of industries based on interviews that he has done over a long period of time. Incredibly useful information. What I like about it is I keep finding nuggets that I can apply, can see he points out what the trends are, what the commonalities are amongst all the people that he's interviewed over great over a long period of time. And also it gives me some insight into how he's writing it, how he's repurposing content that he has from the interviews that he's done over the years. So it's really, I highly recommend it. Tools of the Titans should be in your reference library. And speaking of mastery, I want to share something that I boofed up over the weekend. Had a great interview with Charles Vest on Saturday morning. Totally goofed it up. So I made two huge mistakes on Saturday. They're very embarrassing. I want to share this with you, and hopefully you'll laugh. Either laugh with me, laugh at me. I don't care. Just laugh and have fun. So we start the broadcast at 9 as planned, and Charles isn't there. And I know Charles is very good about time, right? Being on time, actually a little bit early, and he didn't show up. I didn't pay attention to that. I checked my setup and everything, checked everything Friday night, checked the setup Saturday morning. Didn't pay attention to that little nudge in the back of my head, what Glenn Morshower calls the whisper, right? To double check the location that I was, the link for the broadcast. Didn't do that. When Charles didn't show up, still didn't pay attention to that, so the whisper became more of a tap on, it's like, come on, you need to reach out to him. Didn't reach out to Charles to see what was happening. And 15 minutes into the time, he reaches out and comments to the broadcast I was doing, and he'd been waiting 30 minutes, right? I was so embarrassed, and he was very gracious about it. We got him into the broadcast that was already in progress, and had a great 30-minute talk. I asked if he could stay a little bit longer instead of, because we were scheduled to do 30 minutes, be crisp, and at the bottom of the hour, he has a packed schedule. Go to the end, wrap it up. Had a great outbrief with him, which greatly appreciated an opportunity to learn from a master. And, I always ask that. So, it's a tip you can apply. In the first major corporation that I worked for out of college at Hughes Aircraft, they were very big on outbriefs, which, because there were so many military personnel that, after they'd rotated out of the military, that were working there, that's most likely where they picked up that tradition. Because from my military friends over the past 5-10 years, I have adopted the habit of always doing an AAR, or an after action review. Highly recommend that as a disciplined approach to everything you do. You do what you're doing, and then before everybody heads out, do a quick after action. I use a modified after action report where we focus on only 2 questions. They typically do 3, but here's the 2 questions I always ask. What went well, and what can we do even better next time? That second question is intentionally phrased that way because the learning comes not just from mistakes. I don't know about you, but I learned better from my goof ups. And that's what I was sharing. I'll come back to the story with Charles from Saturday. I learn better from my mistakes. Unfortunately, you'd think that I would be a lot more smarter, wiser, and effective given the number of mistakes that I've made over the years. But hey, I'm slow. I get there eventually. So there's a learning from the mistakes. But that question is phrased that way also because after doing something, you've learned from that experience, right? And there may be something when after is, are there any gold nuggets to learn from that say, you know what, this worked okay, but now that we've done it, consider trying this. This might work even better next time. So that's what we did. So I had great AAR with Charles. Coming back to what happened on Saturday. To make an embarrassment even deeper, I've realized that what I had done was clicked on the wrong link. I was in the wrong broadcast because we're scheduling multiple broadcasts coming up through this week. And I had clicked on a broadcast that I'd set up for the interview we're doing tomorrow on Tuesday. You don't want to miss that. That's going to be great because it's with an entrepreneur that just exploded her business, exploded her ability to do good works in the community during the Great Shutdown. You'll want to hear that story. She's very innovative, and it's amazing the impact that she's having. So I'd have to redo that link for that setup, and that's why Charles was where I'd asked him to be, right? He's doing exactly what we'd scheduled doing. I totally goofed. And it's like, oh, and again, Charles, if you see this, thank you so much for being so gracious. And man, oh man, what an awesome series of insights he delivered. It's a lot of stuff you can use from the talk that we had. So I figured, I better do some file maintenance. So this is my second big error that I made on Saturday. So after wrap up with Charles, I'm looking into what I, how I had gotten so far off track with that and not been ready to talk with him early as we had planned. So I'm doing some maintenance with videos on YouTube, and I wanted to remove a few files that were for intended broadcasts that ended up happening on didn't happen or happened on different dates, but it was still in my queue that I can see when I'm doing maintenance on my channel. I can see, here's what I've got scheduled for live broadcasts, and these were in the past. And it's like, okay, well, let's clear that out so that it will, unclutter. And I went through the process several times to make sure I was doing it right because I just wanted to remove 3 and went ahead. So I like highlight the 3 that I want and click to delete, and then promptly deleted every live stream that I've ever done to YouTube, my entire set of live streams that I've done since April. And it's like big goof number 2 on Saturday. So I just kind of set that all aside, went and it's like, what else do I need to do that just get me away from the technology, because I am just striking out with it today. It's 2 major strikes. The time impact on that is huge. They're all backed up, fortunately. So now I have to upload all 25, go back in, redo the descriptions, the titles, the tags, and everything. It's like, because it's 30 minutes to an hour to per video to upload. And I was thinking, it's going to take a while. I can have that process run in the background, sure. But then there's the time of redoing it. Going, oh man, it's just, so here I am. I created through an error, created a distraction off of productive time. Now that I need to reload those, because I want to have those on the YouTube channel. That's linked to other things that now aren't going to work. Ads that we ran on social media. So anyway, put that back in. Here's the upside to that. I got great coaching from Charles, which if you ever have the opportunity to be coached by Charles, you want to take it. As a result of that, we had a little bit longer conversation, not the conversation I'd wanted to have, but it was not, it was not a negative at the end. We still had a good session. And the second thing is looking at it going, well, now that I have to upload all these files again to YouTube, so it gives me an opportunity to set them up better, right? To increase the level of excellence, to increase the level of mastery that those are posted on YouTube. So that's an upside to it. So it'll take a while. It's not a super urgency, so it won't be making that a high priority. It's just something over time we'll make it better. So there you have it. How do you learn from your mistakes? I learned some lessons from that. I'm applying them, and it helps me raise my level of mastery, right? The coolest thing about mastery is there's always more. And it is something to continue applying, to continue to strive at. That's why I read books like Tools of the Titans. It's always bringing in more information, partly to flush out the negative crap that floats around in my head and overwhelm it with positive information. But also, Stephen Covey said 7 habits of highly successful people, right? Sharpen the saw. It's bringing new information, not just read, but apply. Get the info and apply it. As I did from, suggestions that I got from the AAR with Charles Vest on Saturday, applying that, what I learned from, from goofing up and deleting a whole bunch of my videos off of my YouTube channel. It's, what's the positive lesson in that? What's the upside? And I want to share that with you because it's been a long road for me to come to that mindset. And I don't do that perfectly. It's just on Saturday, I didn't break my racket. There's an interview that Tim Ferriss did with the founder, Bob Metcalfe, who's the inventor of Ethernet. And he talked about how when he was younger, he played tennis. And at that time, everybody smashed it was the big thing to smash the racket and be, real passionate and dramatic. And he never smashed his racket. And that's something that then became a habit that worked well for him later in life, because there were a lot of times when he could have smashed his racket because he didn't, he kept himself in a position where he was able to learn a lot, to thrive, and really achieve very high levels of success. And he founded a company called 3Com, which was what made internet available to all of us. If you're connected to the internet, which if you're watching this, you are, it's because of Bob Metcalfe. He invented Ethernet, which is the connection between you and your router that gets you to get connected to the internet cable, internet, whatever that comes into your house, right? Internet protocol is what goes global and brings to the buildings. Once internet gets to a building, if you're going to connect to anything, Ethernet's what's making it happen. And it was interesting. So there's so many gold nuggets you can get from that interview too. It's one of my go-to interviews when I'm traveling, or if I'm out for a walk or for a hike. I keep re-listening to that and get more out of it. And I appreciate his perspective. So promised I would keep this short today. Thanks for joining us. It's always good to have you here. It's always good to have a chance to talk with you. And in the comments, let us know, what book are you reading today?